On today's video, I was going to cover weeks 5 and 6 of my 75 medium challenge. But with Thanksgiving and getting ready for Christmas, time has flown and I've just completed week 7. So we're going to just get caught up and talk about weeks 5, 6, and 7 of my 75 medium challenge. Spoiler alert, week 7 was... We're going to cover that. We're going to get into it. We're going to talk about what I'm going to do about that. And then also I'm going to do just a little, I'm going to cover my weight loss journey since July 1st. So November's done. So what is that? July, August, September, October. Yeah, it's 5 months of this intermittent fasting and weight loss journey. Also talk a little bit about just the general roller coaster that has been my weight loss journey since being an adult. So I'm getting ready to go into a doctor's appointment. It has been snowing out here. It is absolutely gorgeous and I love it. Every time it snows, the little girl inside of me gets so excited. So we'll go take care of that, and then I will meet you all back home and we'll get into the meat and potatoes of this challenge. So I'll see you then. Okay, we're back home and settled. So we are going to cover weeks 4, 5, and 6, like I said. Just a quick update for those of you who have not been here before. My name is Vicki, and I created a 75 medium challenge for myself a little over 7 weeks ago. So what I created as my guidelines was let's see, yeah. So my guideline for my challenge: 60 minutes of working out, intentional movement, 5 days a week, sticking to a diet of my choice, which is intermittent fasting mixed with some low carb, 64 ounces of water every day, read 10 pages of nonfiction. I had the progress photo. I decided a few weeks ago, I am not doing the progress photo every day. This is my challenge. I created it for myself, and I think it's stupid. Not for anybody else, for me. Anytime I go on my photos to look for something, all I'm seeing is like daily pictures of me, and there's no difference between most of them. So I'm thinking for myself, maybe a monthly photo. I don't know. I'm not seeing any difference between them, and I just don't see the value for me. Other people, that may be a great tool for you, and I'm not knocking that. For me, I don't like it. So I'm scratching the daily photo. So for week 5, that was the week before Thanksgiving. I mean, that went fine. I stuck to everything. That was great. Week 6 was the week of Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving I worried a little bit about. I did a 3-hour eating window. I ate what I wanted. It was a lot of calories. I had my desserts that I made. And that's one other thing, that I'm not eating desserts unless it's something that I make homemade. That way it kind of slows me down on if I want something sweet. I'm okay, do I have what it needs? Do I have the ingredients? Do I actually want to go through making something? So it just kind of helps me pause on that a little bit. So yeah, Thanksgiving, I ate what I wanted. It was a high calorie day, but it went great. The next day, the day after, my eating ended up being several hours, which is fine. Intermittent fasting is, you're supposed to mix it up so your body doesn't get used to any one fasting length. So I had my big meal, and then several hours later, I ended up having a snack that evening, which was fine. It's still within my guidelines. So that would have been the end of week 6, Thanksgiving week. Is that right? Yeah. I just finished up week 7. Now week 7, I kind of noticed even around the holidays, a lot of my activity was less intentional. It was, okay, I've got 10,000 steps because I did this. I cleaned house, I decorated, I baked, it was movement. So some days that I was really, really busy and didn't get my 60-minute walk in, like on the walking pad or outside, I was just thinking, as long as I still get the same amount of steps as if I had gone. So it's exercise. It was more than enough exercise, but it's a slippery slope for me, because once I start kind of like, okay, so if I do this, it still counts, then I start to notice, my brain starts to shift a little bit. And I'm pretty bad at self-sabotage, so I have to be really careful about that. So week 7, I've been doing that a little bit through Thanksgiving. Week 7 comes, and I had already skipped a couple of days as far as my activity. So I had to, after that, I had to, the next few days I had to have actually that was the beginning of the week. So the rest of the week I had to do something every day. And I came in to walk on I have my walking pad just set up in this little area over here by my coffee bar, just because it's the most convenient place for it, and I can watch television or hang onto the bar because I'm not very stable on the pad, so I have to have at least my finger resting on something. And it was not working right. It was kind of stopping, and it would, it was kind of jerking me back and forth. So, and I have not had that walking pad. I don't even know if it has been a month since I bought that. So it just was something, and it was late. It was cold. It was late, and I had to get that workout in, and I couldn't do it. So that was that. So then instantly my brain, I'm frustrated. I didn't get it in. And I thought, well, that's the challenge right there, because the original 75-day hard, they say if you miss anything, if you forget to take a picture of yourself, you're supposed to start back with day 1. Well, my brain instantly goes to, well, I didn't do it, so scrap it. It's done. And as if the 6 weeks prior to that and all of the progress I had made was just, amounted to nothing. So I really had to kind of rewire my thinking around that. And I thought, I'm not going to start the 75 medium over. I instead am going to get right back on it. So I finished the week strong. I took that treadmill or that walking pad back. And then we went and found a better one. It's a little bit longer. It actually has a handle that folds up so I can hang on to it. It doesn't have to be near something that I can just kind of touch for balance. And I finished that week strong, but those couple of days there, I was just thinking, I'm not going to finish it. And that's the danger for me, in thinking an all or nothing kind of, if I don't do this exactly right, then I'm going to start over. So what I am going to do, is I'm just going to redo week 7, or the equivalent of adding a week on to the end of this challenge. So I would have been done December 31st. So now I will be done January 7th. And I don't mind that so much because, I like to hit January anyway strong as far as my goals. And this, it's going to carry momentum into that first week of January. Because when I'm done with this 75 days, it's not like I'm just, okay, I'm not going to exercise anymore. This was just something to get me going. So I'm going to use it exactly as that. So I will be done January 7th with this particular challenge. And I don't know that I'll do this again, but I do want to finish strong with it. And then I want to keep building on those habits that I've built over the last several weeks. So that's where we're at. I finished week 7 a couple of days ago, and I'm still on track with my intermittent fasting. I'm actually on about 26 and a half hours. I ate yesterday a late lunch, and I'm going to try a 72-hour fast again, just to kind of get myself. I would love to hit Wonderland before 2026. I don't know that it's possible, but I would love to see the 100s before January 1st. So those of you who have been on the weight loss journey, you know what Wonderland is. So So speaking of weight loss, I started intermittent fasting again in July 1st. We had just been on a family vacation to Maine, which is where I was born and raised. And we, of course, took some family pictures. And there was one particular picture from our trip. We stopped at Niagara Falls on the way. Some of my kids wanted to see that. So we stopped there and took a picture with my children and my grandchildren and my husband. And I got home and I thought, this was the end of June. And I thought, my goodness, this has gotten out of control. And I probably will use that picture. I don't think I'll show it today, but I'll probably use that picture as a before and after, because it was the inspiration for like, we gotta get back on track here. So from July 1st until the end of November, I've lost 30 pounds. I don't love that. I mean, I love that I've lost 30 pounds, but back in my 30s and 40s, I could lose 10 pounds the first week of dieting. So it's definitely slower than I would like, and I'm having to learn patience. I'm 55 now, and postmenopausal, and things are just not going to work the same as they used to. So, and I know slow and easy is the best way, or not easy. Slow and steady is the best way to lose weight. Everybody says you'll keep it off faster, and I mean, I believe that that's true. So, I mean, what is that average? 6 pounds per month? 30 pounds in 5 months. Yeah, 6 pounds per month. It's so much better than the alternative. So I will take it. And then the first week of December, I've lost another 2. So overall, I've lost 32 pounds since the beginning of July. Back in 2023, I had reached an all-time high. I had never been. I reached, I think, 252 pounds back in August of 2023. And I was suffering. I mean, my sleep apnea was horrendous. I was hurting. I was like, my mobility was, I have just never. And so I started seriously intermittent fasting and low carb, and lost 50 pounds. I was right, so close to Wonderland. And then this is not an excuse, and it's not like, but my husband, so that was August, and I went through to December, but that November, my husband was diagnosed with, at the time, I think it was still considered stage 3 melanoma. He's now stage 4, but it just kind of, there was so much going on, and I used it as an excuse to just, put my goals aside and to not worry about it. And really, it should have been a time where I was taking extra good care of myself so I could be, there and support him better. But I just kind of let the diet go, and slowly I had gained back, probably right at 40 pounds over the last 2 years, up until July, when I just said, I'm not getting back to 250. That's where I was headed. So yeah, and that's just in the last couple of years. But, ever since I was just shy of 20 when I had my first child, I was, my weight has gone up and down. I have 4 kids, and my weight would go up and then I would lose. But, I was a skinny kid. I, probably underweight as a child, and then started working fast food when I was 16. From the time I was 16 to 18, I probably put on 20 pounds. And then I moved from Maine to Kentucky, and no longer working at fast food, I lost those 20. But then as soon as I started having kids, I started putting on the weight, and then I would lose, and then I would gain. And that was just a cycle that I went through. I was 35 when I had my last child. And after I had him, I was able to lose back down. My most comfortable weight is 140. And I think I got down to maybe 138 after I had him. And I stayed right around 140, the low 140s, for several years, and then just slowly started gaining it back. And it's just kind of been another cycle, since then. I'm 55. That was, about 20s when so the last 35 years has just been gaining and losing the same weight over and over and over again, and I'm just so ready for that to be different. So, and I'm going to set some 2026 goals too. That maybe one video that I do before the end of the year is just some very tangible kinds of and measurable goals, but then also just some kind of not so measurable. I mean, just how I feel about things, and how I want that to change in 2026. So, that's my journey so far since July 1st. I've lost 32 pounds. So from my start weight, my start weight was 142, or I wish 242, and my goal is 140. So I've lost 32, so what's that, 60, 70 more pounds to go? Whew. That seems a lot, but we're gonna eat this elephant, no pun intended, one bite at a time, and just take however long it takes to get this done. So that is my my wins and my losses for the 75 medium challenge. I'm going strong. I started this week strong. I'm loving my new walking pad, and I'm, just making sure that even when I'm not on the walking pad, that I am more active. I had even stopped doing my little bit of strength training. That's not part of this challenge, but I had added that, and around Thanksgiving, so I've started that back again, and I have a renewed motivation to finish this month out strong, and then I've got the first week of January to finish this challenge, and then there's going to be a lot more in store. I just may not do another 75 medium, but I definitely will have the same goals, and then probably a few more to add on to that. So I welcome any criticisms if they're constructive, and any suggestions. I would love the support. So anything that you all could any advice you give, I'm definitely willing to listen to it if it's nice. And we'll just keep chugging along. I don't know, if I'll do a video every week. Obviously, this week it's 3 weeks since I did my last one. I'm gonna do the best I can, and just at least, periodically check in and see. But I will definitely have something by the end of this month. I hope to at least have one, somewhere in the middle between now and the end of the year, and then at the end of the year do a final one. Even though I won't be done with this challenge until January 7th, I'll probably do an end of the year and then an end of the challenge one. So hope y'all stick with me. I know this was a lot of rambling, but it's just 3 weeks and all of the things that I wanted to talk about. It was just going to be a super long video, so I'm trying to just do a quick summary. So yeah, I will hopefully check in, I don't know, maybe it'll be a slow week and I'll do next week, but if not, in the next 2-3 weeks. So thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you on my next video. Bye-bye.